Welcome to this brief tutorial on how to use Zoom. As I'm sure you are aware at this time, the County Court of Law number 1 and almost all courts throughout the state of Texas are now utilizing the Zoom platform. And I'm finding that attorneys, or some attorneys, are struggling to figure out how to use this application. So I thought it would be best to conduct a brief video tutorial on how to use the Zoom platform. So I have a PowerPoint slide that I'd like to share with you. I'm going to share my screen, a feature of Zoom that I find very beneficial and something that you would be utilizing in your hearings. So here we go. First off, how to use Zoom. So what do you need to get started with Zoom? Well, you need one of the three here. You need a computer with a video camera and microphone, or you need a smartphone or tablet, and that smartphone or tablet needs to have a video camera, a forward-facing video camera preferably, so you can see the screen and we can see you as well, or a telephone. Now, the telephone option is only for defendants or litigants who do not have the resources or ability to access a smartphone, tablet, or computer with a video camera or microphone. Where do you get this Zoom application? Well, go to zoom.us where you can download this application for your MacBook, for your Windows PC, for your iPhone, for your Galaxy notebook, for whatever device you have, you can download the Zoom application onto it. Now, I provided a link here. Now, you can't link the video, obviously, but this PowerPoint presentation is being uploaded to my website, so you'll be able to access it and click on the link to the zoom.us website. It'll take you directly to the application where you can download it. If you choose not to click on the link and you just rather type in the website, go to zoom.us, and the top right-hand corner, you'll find the download application link where you can click on that and find the application, which is titled Zoom Client for Meetings. Now, requesting your Zoom hearing from the courts. And these procedures are specific to County Court of Law number 1. Each court has slightly different procedures on how to request a hearing. Now, I'll say this. Many of these are very similar to other courts, and in fact, you'll find this to be almost exactly the same as many of the district courts and the way they're asking you to contact them for hearings. So there is some consistency for the most part across the board. So if you want to request a hearing for a criminal, juvenile, or civil hearing, you're going to contact Regina Green, my court coordinator. You're going to email her. Do not call her. Email her. If you need one for a probate or guardianship hearing, you're going to contact Anita Ayala, also known as Annie Ayala. You must indicate in your hearing request the following: the type of hearing requested, whether an interpreter is necessary, and the required language, the anticipated length of the entire hearing, and the names of all those who will be participating in the hearing. This is important, and I'll explain later on during this presentation, but I need the attorney's names, the litigants, defendants' names, and the witnesses. Do not leave anyone out. Once they get your request, they'll send you an email confirmation, which will give you the meeting details, the link and meeting ID, which can be saved on your calendar. The scheduling party, this is important here, for civil and probate matters, the scheduling party is responsible for noticing other party or parties, the video conferencing hearing, and details for login. So what does that look like? Well, the notice of hearing must be e-filed, and the notice shall state the hearing is taking place by video conferencing, and specifically the Zoom application, and it must contain the Zoom conference details. And I'm referring to the meeting ID that's generated in the email that you receive by my court coordinator or probate auditor. Now, what does it look like? It looks like this. This is the invitation that you're going to receive from my probate auditor or court coordinator. It'll have a link, and you can see, click on the link. And if you click that link, it'll take you directly to the meeting. If you don't want to click on the link and you just want to enter the meeting ID through the Zoom application, Right below that is the meeting ID. This is also the information that you must enter into the notice of hearing. You must provide that. If you do not, your hearing will be passed. No exceptions. Additionally, you can find the contact information for the telephone on the email as well. Now, day of hearing, logging into Zoom. Let's say you decided not to click the link in the email or the calendar invite. Instead, you just go into your application, you want to join a meeting. Well, it's quite simple. What you're going to do, you're going to click the join button. Now, one thing that I want to point out that I'm asking all attorneys to do is to log into their Zoom meeting 10 minutes prior to their scheduled start time. One thing I didn't mention in this last email is, in addition to all of this information, it will also contain the start time for each hearing for that docket, for each case for that docket. What we've done is we've broken down the hearing times in 10, 15, or 20-minute intervals. Essentially, it gives you a more exact time of when you need to be on for your Zoom hearing. So instead of waiting around for 1 hour, 2 hours, and for your hearing to start, where you're just sitting there in a waiting room, we've given you a more exact time of when to log in. That being said, though, you have to understand some hearings do run over, and your time, it may start a little bit past your time. But so far, we've been pretty good about starting on the exact time or right before that exact time as well. That's why I'm asking you to log in 10 minutes prior to your scheduled start time, because I have found a lot of hearings, there's been times, suggested time frames of a hearing, say they estimate the hearing will take 10 minutes, it only takes 5 minutes. Well, I'm ready to move into the next hearing, and if I go to find everybody in the waiting room, they're not there because they're waiting until the exact start time of their hearing. So 10 minutes prior to your start time. That way, if we can get you a little bit earlier, we will. So click the join button. Once you click the join button, this is going to pop up. You can enter your meeting ID right there. I ask that you enter your full name. And the reason I'm asking that is because when I'm looking at the waiting room and we're looking at who I need to enter into the virtual courtroom, sometimes I don't know who they are. It might have something like Gigi's iPad or some crazy name or Kenny. You won't have a full name. I have that list of everyone that you provided to the court, of everyone involved in that hearing. I'm looking to the waiting room for those individuals. If I don't recognize the name, or if it's some nickname that you've got over there, I'm not letting you in the hearing because I don't know who you are. It's a safety issue as well. So please enter your full name. Once you've done that, you can click the join button. It'll take you to this screen. Now here, you can click join with computer audio. This will utilize your computer's microphone and allow you to conduct everything through your computer. But I highly recommend that you test your audio before clicking the join button. We have way too many audio issues occurring in the Zoom hearings, and all of this could have been resolved with a simple test speaker and microphone. It takes 30 seconds. Now, once you've done all of that, you're now in the virtual waiting room. You're going to wait there, and this is the screen you're going to see, but you're going to wait there until your case is called and I bring you into the virtual courtroom. So, what are the rules for a Zoom hearing? Well, first off, I expect everyone to adhere to my video conferencing policy and procedures. And at the bottom of this slide, you can see that there's a link to the court's video conferencing policy and procedures. This will take you to my website where you can find them. I suggest you familiarize yourself with them. I've given you a brief synopsis here, and I'm going to go over these, but I suggest you open those up and take a full look at that. Again, this PowerPoint will be saved to my website. You will be able to access this PowerPoint and utilize the links that I've established within this PowerPoint. If you don't want to utilize the link, just go to my court's website, search under documents. So some of the more important requirements are as follows. Recording of remote Zoom proceeding is strictly forbidden and subject to contempt. You are not allowed to record a Zoom hearing. The only person allowed to record a Zoom hearing is my court reporter, Ms. Stephanie Webb. If for some reason there's poor audio quality or poor internet connection, I am utilizing the record feature of Zoom, and I will share that with her to supplement her record, but only under those circumstances. But I don't expect, no one is to record these hearings on their own. The scheduling party is responsible for noticing all parties of a hearing or cancellation. We talked about this earlier. Exhibits must be submitted to my court reporter 3 days prior to the hearing. Just make sure you get those to her promptly. The court is not responsible for displaying exhibits during a hearing. It is your responsibility to ensure that those are displayed during the hearing. I suggest you utilize the share screen feature that I'm utilizing here today. You may not use the chat feature to communicate with witnesses. This is highly improper. Now, Zoom has a chat feature that allows you to communicate directly with a single person in the hearing. Now, you can communicate with the group as well, everyone in the hearing, but you can also select individuals. And if you are communicating with a person who is testifying, this is improper, and you're going to have more problems than you know what to do with if I find out you're utilizing that. And this also applies to a client who's testifying. Now, if you need to take a break and you need to go utilize a breakout room, we can do that. That isn't a problem. But you need to ask the court. You cannot utilize that chat feature. Now, if your client is not testifying and they're just sitting there listening to the proceedings and watching the proceedings, you may utilize the chat feature. Witnesses may not hold notes or paperwork in their hands while testifying. The Zoom platform is like a courtroom. It's a virtual courtroom. I expect everyone to follow the same rules as if they were inside my courtroom. So a witness who's testifying would not be allowed to hold a bunch of notes or paperwork in their hands to refer to, unless of course it's an exhibit that's been properly admitted. Participants should minimize outside noise and distractions during the hearing. A recommendation that is across the board, even Zoom suggests this, mute yourself. If you're not talking, if you're just sitting there listening or waiting, mute yourself. So that dog of yours in the background that's barking, or your daughter who's trying to get your attention, we can't hear her, and they're not interrupting the proceeding. All participants should enter the waiting room at least 10 minutes prior to the hearing start time. We talked about this already. Technical difficulties that are not timely resolved may result in the hearing being passed. Now, if you are having a technical difficulty, and we've experienced this a couple times now, what I'll do is I'll put you back in the waiting room and I'll move on to the next case. At some point, I'll go ahead and admit you back into the virtual courtroom, and we will try to continue with your case at the time. Now, if your technical difficulty is something that's going to be lengthy and it's going to take you an hour to resolve or more, then more than likely we will pass your hearing and we will reschedule you for another day. Finally, all of the usual in-person courtroom decorum, demeanor, and dress code rules shall apply. So, what does that mean? That means I don't expect to see you in a Tommy Bahama shirt, puffing on a cigar and drinking a beer. You are to act as if you were inside my courtroom, and you are to dress as if you were in my courtroom in a suit and tie. So let's move on. What to expect at the hearing. So I've broken this down into a general section that also covers civil, a criminal and juvenile section, and a probate and guardianship section. So generally speaking, interpreters can be utilized in Zoom. In fact, they have this amazing feature that allows interpreters to interpret without interrupting the proceedings or slowing down the proceedings. It's an interpreter button in the Zoom platform that's unique to Zoom. We've utilized it now twice, and I have found it to be quite beneficial in our hearings. Jury trials are not prohibited for the time being. The OCA has stated that they are not going to allow jury trials to take place via Zoom at this time. They are doing some testing to see if it's a possibility And in fact, they're asking courts to consider themselves guinea pigs for this, but we're not going to do that right now. Exhibits. Again, we talked about this in the last slide, but 3 days before your hearing, get them to my court reporter. And when you're conducting the hearing, utilize your share screen feature to display the exhibits, because I'm not going to be responsible for that. It's on you to ensure that you can get those exhibits displayed properly. Mediation can be conducted through Zoom now. I just found out the other day that the DRC is actually conducting mediation through Zoom. So if that's something that interests you and you don't want to wait on an in-person mediation, reach out to the DRC, or I'm sure most mediators are utilizing this platform as well. So reach out to some mediators and find out if you can conduct your mediation via Zoom. Talked about this briefly before, but breakout rooms are available for private meetings between attorney and client. If you need to talk to your client in person and privately outside the hearing and outside our hearing, and you want to do it separate from the virtual courtroom, I can establish a breakout room, place you and your client in that room, and you can conduct a private meeting that will not be recorded at all. That hearing is not recorded, and you can talk to them about whatever you need to talk to them about. Criminal and juvenile. The only criminal cases we're conducting via Zoom, or the only hearing types we're conducting via Zoom, are motions hearings. With regards to juvenile, we're going to continue to utilize Zoom in all hearings, except of course, certification hearings, those type of things. But if it's a general adjudication docket or status docket, it will be utilized via Zoom. We will utilize Zoom. Well, we have been utilizing it now for a month at least, if not more, and I have found it to be quite efficient and the process to work out quite well. So we're going to continue with that. With regards to probate and guardianship, I'm going to get very detailed here, but for letters of testamentary, ask the court to take judicial notice of the original will. I will have the original will in a file on my desk when the hearing is going on. I know you do not have access to it, and I don't have the capability to display the original will on the screen. So ask that I take judicial notice of it, and you may utilize a copy of that will to assist in the testimony of your client, the applicant. In fact, if you and your client are not in the same room and you are on separate Zoom platforms or separate Zoom devices, then what you can do is utilize the share screen feature to display that copy for your client and continue with your testimony. Executed documents such as oath, testimony, etc., can be done with a virtual notary or through an unsworn declaration. And contested matters. Now we're going to utilize Zoom for contested matters, but if your contested matter, let me back up it, but it will be limited to 10 witnesses and 10 exhibits. If your contested hearing exceeds those limitations, you need to contact Annie and let her know so we can find a date and time to have an in-person hearing for that contested matter. I've also provided contact information for Ms. Ayala, Ms. Green, and Ms. Davenport. If you have any questions regarding the Zoom hearing, the Zoom process, reach out to them. Do not be afraid to contact them. Email is preferable. They are responding to email much faster than phone calls. Emails become the prevalent communication method nowadays, but feel free to reach out to them. Another resource that I want to bring up before I conclude this tutorial is the Office of Court Administration's website. If you go there, they have an entire page dedicated to the Zoom hearings and Zoom procedure. They have tutorial videos, documents, etc. They go into quite detail, much more detail than I'm going into here today. And so if you want to learn more about Zoom and the features and how to best utilize Zoom, or just how to use Zoom in general, I suggest you go over to the Office of Court Administration's website, find the page itself, and scroll through or go through those different tutorial videos. I hope you found this beneficial and helpful in conducting your future Zoom hearing, and I look forward to seeing everyone in the virtual courtroom. Have a great day.